We're going to have some of the coldest football games on record this weekend, so why not bring in a Packer? James Jones, who played in a game in Chicago once that was chilly. You had a playoff game against the Giants.
My goodness.
Eli came in there and won. That was the Plaxico Burress game.
Yes, I think that was the third coldest game in NFL history.
Okay, so let's go back to that game. That was negative.
I think it was like negative 25, close to 30.
What did it?
With the wind chill.
Did you even go out for the pregame?
I never went out. So, this is one of those positive things that I never went out. Because even when it was sunny, I never went out to, warm up and do none of that type of stuff. I always did my little stretching and warming up in the locker room, come out with the team. But one thing I do remember about that game, number one, right when you walk outside, toes frozen, fingers frozen.
Immediately.
Yeah, everything's body catch. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, to be honest with you, Aaron would look at me in the huddle like, you open? Nah. It's the only time I'm not open when it's ice cold like this. You're about to break my fingers. But I remember we had what's the little stuff you drink? The broth. We had the little chicken broth on the sideline.
You did.
Right? And I remember man, I need to go over here and get me some chicken broth. I went over there. That thing was slushy. That's how cold it was.
They brought hot broth
They brought hot broth out there for us to drink, and they set them down for a good little 5 minutes. You go, the thing was slushy. I said, see, so I always used to say, man, these cold weather games, every team needs to have a dome. We don't need to be playing with none of this cold weather. Get teams in the dome. And then I remember playing in Chicago. It was funny because this was Brett Favre's last year. And playing in Chicago in 2007, we didn't need to play. We didn't need to win. We already were locked in. I think
Favre
we were
throws a hard ball.
So I think we were 13-2 or something at the time. So we didn't need to play. And I remember coming out of halftime and everybody's in the locker room like, man, how can I put this North Face jacket on under my uniform and all? That's how cold it was out there in Chicago. And I remember trotting out for halftime. We had 6 people on kickoff team. Coach Mike was going crazy. Everybody's still running out the locker room. Everybody was trying to get as much heat as they could get. Then we get the ball, and the very first play, Brett, is so cold Brett can't even talk. So he break. And we all said break like we knew the play. A break. We all said break like we didn't know what the play was. But we not finna stand here. And this was too cold.
So, for the record, our staff just looked it up. You missed by 1 degree.
1 degree. I knew it was cold.
2008 NFC Championship game, minus 24 wind chill. So I was on a mountain about a month ago. I went skiing, and it was 7 degrees, and it was a little windy at the top, not at the base. And I asked somebody when I came off the mountain, they said it's minus 6.
Yeah.
Minus 6. I had ski stuff on. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. And I love skiing. I was like, I'm out. So I can't imagine.
Oh, my goodness.
And you said it's all body catch.
Oh, man.
So that's why I said it actually plays in Miami's favor. Mm-hmm. Because they have 2 viable running backs.
Yep.
I think Miami's looking at it thinking, you guys don't think we're built for this. Mm-hmm. By the way, Tyreek Hill, jet sweeps.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill reverse. I can get the ball to Tyreek Hill.
And not only that, even if it's just really quick passes, 2-yard passes, and let Waddle and Tyreek Hill take them things for 10, 15 here and there. But you got 2 backs with Mostert and HN that could really fly. The cold weather might help them out because, Kansas City don't want to stick with the run like that.
Wow. Yeah. So I got to ask you, for Jordan Love, it's his first playoff game. Mm-hmm. He's made a remarkable pivot to playing it safe to just a baller. Mm-hmm. Go back to your first playoff game, or at least your first roadie. Yeah. I would argue, this is weird, I'd rather, if I was a quarterback, I want to be a dog on the road. I love the idea. Yeah. Listen, he's played some pretty good road games. Mm-hmm. In a weird way, I think, no pressure. Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen Aaron at Lambeau. Yeah. That pressure's on you.
No doubt.
I kind of think this works out for Green Bay.
Well, I think Jordan Love's in a really good spot right now anyway because nobody's expecting him to do anything.
That's right.
So on the road, at home, I mean, he's took this team to the playoffs. It was looking shaky, start of the season and all that, not even the way he was playing, but even just record-wise, are they going to make the playoffs? And now he's playing at an extremely high level. He has them in the playoffs, and let's just be honest, who's picking them to beat the Cowboys on the road? Nobody. So with that being said, I mean, this kid can go out there, be aggressive, Coach LaFleur can call an aggressive game. And at the end of the day, you don't really got to worry about making no mistakes. If you lose this game, they're going to say the Cowboys was the better team. The Cowboys was rolling. You was on the road. Kudos to the young fella, first rookie quarterback in a very long time to take his team to the playoffs. All this is going to be said about him. So for him, I think he's in a really good situation right now. Relax, breathe, at home, in the parking lot, on the road. Like, just go out there and sling the ball and have some fun.
Did you sense that playoff games felt different?
Oh, yeah.
Practice, the game.
Yeah, practice, the mindset, the speed of the game. That's one thing that people don't understand. Preseason is one speed, right? Regular season is another speed. Playoffs is a whole different speed. Super Bowl, it feel like 22 people's on defense.
Really?
That's how fast the game is moving. The first pass I caught in the Super Bowl, I felt like I got hit by 5 people, and I'm like, how many people is on the field? Like, I just came from the regular season, like being able, getting some yak. I'm like, how many people is on this field? That, like,
2 weeks to prepare.
You know that this is the last game of the season and everything is on the line because the effort, the speed of the game, everything's extremely fast. So it is going to be a different speed for Jordan Love when he goes out here. It's nothing you could prepare for in practice. There's nothing you could do for him in practice. He's going to have to get out there these first couple drives, and he might be looking like this in the camera once or twice because it is going to be a fast football game. Just settle down, young fella, and go play.
For the record, Green Bay starts very quickly. Mm-hmm. They've been a very good first drive, second drive team. I think that's really important at Dallas.
No doubt.
Dallas tends to play downhill. Mm-hmm. Dak's also not quite the same quarterback trailing.
100%.
Yeah, so certain teams in this league, Buffalo for years, they play downhill. They're great with a lead.
No doubt.
Slow them down a little bit, take a lead, make them think. You look at all these coaching situations. Like Pete Carroll was always a player's coach. I told J-Mac, I'm like, Seattle's got 2 tight ends, receivers, corners, tackles.
Very good football team.
I think they
good
have
D-line. Very good football
D-line.
team.
It's funny. People, maybe it's because it's way up in the Northwest, and they say, they don't have a quarterback. Well, Geno certainly for a year is more than capable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, you look at all these job openings. We had the job openings earlier. If you're a coach, which one attracts you? So you have Washington, Chargers, Raiders, Seahawks, Titans, Panthers. Panthers is obviously caution tape.
Yeah.
Falcons. Is there one of those there?
Well, for me, it's the Raiders, Chargers. But if I had to pick one and I'm a head coach, if James Jones is about to take a head coaching job, you have a franchise quarterback with the Chargers,
and that's
and I think that's where you start your organization with. Every organization is looking for that franchise guy, the one that has them or building around them, and they are really good football teams.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them, you're looking for one. So for me, with having Justin Herbert over there being the head coach, especially if you're a defensive-minded head coach, you're like, listen, I'll get this defense right. I know I have some superstars on that offensive side of the ball, in Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, the young kid, the first rounder, and then the superstar at the quarterback spot. So I think that's the sexiest job right now out there, strictly because you have a franchise guy ready to go.
So Max Crosby, one of my favorite NFL players.
Baller.
Great guy, too. Mm-hmm. Great guy. So I've talked to Max multiple times at UFC fights. We always end up in the press room 3 or 4 times. Really like him. He put out a tweet today, like, hire
100%
AP. Mm-hmm. Listen, if Vrabel... Brady now may own a part of the team. His guy is Vrabel. If they didn't hire Antonio Pierce, mutiny Max Crosby, you think it'd be ugly?
I do. I truly do think it'll be ugly because the way Antonio Pierce has this locker room right now, I've never seen a head coach have this locker room. And I've been around some close locker rooms. I've been around some really close football teams. Coach Mike was excellent at getting the locker room. Coach Mike always used to preach to us 24/7. The most talented teams don't win Super Bowls. The closest teams do. So he was all about the locker room. When you look at Antonio Pierce, you see these guys after a game, whether it may be a loss, whether it may be a win. When you see these dudes at practice, how close this team is, how much they love this dude, how much of a stranglehold he has on this locker room, I think it's going to be some very upset superstars, including Max Crosby, if AP don't get this job. I do.
Wow. That's intense. Yeah. So Mike McCarthy obviously was your coach. Mm-hmm. You say that when players, there's a speed for different levels of football.
Yeah.
I remember, I grew up with a coach, you wouldn't remember him, named Chuck Knox. Mm-hmm. There was also Marty Schottenheimer. They were known as coaches that got tight in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so there's a different, there's more on the line. does McCarthy change anything? I mean, you say it's. Yeah. Do you look at Mike in the playoffs? Is practice more intense? Does his play calling change? Did you notice a different playoff, Mike?
No, play calling doesn't change. Practices change, right? You can tell that, practices are more intense. You can tell he's more intense at practice, you know what I mean? Because he knows what's on the line, and he knows that.
You feel it.
Yeah, you feel it definitely. I mean, he puts signs up in the building. Usually we walk in there. Usually you get some signs on rivalry weeks. You're about to play the Bears, you get some signs. But playoffs, you get some signs, some motivation signs. And you just walk in the building, and the very first speech that Coach Mike gives you, he may show you some tape or something. You understand that, hey, it's a different season now. So I know in practices right now it's amped up. Coach Mike is a little different. You know what I mean? They'll see a different Mike. But, this playoff run is big for Mike. This playoff run is big for Dak. I truly believe that, number one, Jerry Jones would be crazy to let Coach Mike go. But if he loses one and done, and I mean one and done, as good as this football team looks, the highest level is Dak Prescott is playing right now. The best we've ever seen Dak Prescott play. Confidence, super consistent. If you guys go out there and go one and done, it is definitely going to be some conversations about who's going to be this head coach. Are we sticking with Mike? Should we pay Dak? It's going to be some conversations out there like that. So for me, this is a must win for Mike McCarthy. And I know it sounds crazy because if you don't win, you're going home, but it's a must win for jobs. It is.
Well, there was Albert Breer came on over an hour ago and said there are two teams that are in the playoffs that need to win. Well, it does feel like Dallas and Philadelphia.
Man, could you imagine? Nick Sirianni, you come in there and you first season you win, second season you're to the Super Bowl, this season you're 11-6, and you out of there? This is a tough business, man. And then Coach Mike, 12 wins. 2 division titles in 3 seasons, and you losing, you out of there? Yeah, I'm going to stay coaching Pop Warner football.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, but I think Dallas and Philadelphia are really, they are the blue bloods. There's like 8 jobs in this league. Cowboys, Eagles, Niners, Packers, not even the Giants.
Chiefs.
Chiefs, the Hunt family's been pretty patient. There's about 5 jobs in this league. They just always feel intense. Some of it's driven by media, heritage.
Spotlight on you.
Philly and Dallas, those are pressure cooker gigs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Coach Mike ain't going to one and done. I ain't going to say who I'm rooting for, you know what I mean, because I love Coach Mike, obviously. I love the Packers.
I think there's a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
It'll be a good game.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.